This is the 2014-2015 basketball training tool for officials produced by the Georgia High School Association. Its main purpose is to highlight a few areas of officiating that all referees can work on. This year we'll be focusing on hand checking, excessive contact, closely guarded counts, and rebounding contact. First, let's take a look at a new section in the rulebook under Rule 10. The following acts constitute a foul when committed against the ball handler or dribbler: placing two hands on the player, placing an extended arm bar on the player, placing and maintaining contact with a hand on the player, or contacting the player with hands more than once. Let's see some of these plays on the floor. Notice the defender in white extend his forearm onto the dribbler and maintains contact with him as the dribbler moves around the perimeter. This can allow the defender to control the direction of a dribbler. This is a hand-checking foul. Watch number 10 in white approach the ball handler and extend one hand out and then contact him with two hands. This is a foul. Also remember, placing and maintaining contact with one hand on the player is a foul. The defender continues to hand check as the dribbler moves toward the basket. This is an unfair advantage to the defender and can reroute the dribbler. A little over 1 minute later in the same quarter, the same player continues to play defense with his hands by placing a hand on the ball handler and maintains contact. Both of these plays were considered closely guarded, and the covering official had a 5-second count on each play, but neither time did the official decide to call hand checking. On this play, starting in the backcourt, number 3 in white reaches out and places his arm on the hip of the dribbler and maintains contact. That contact causes the dribbler to lose his balance and he falls to the floor. Don't allow defenders to place their hands or arms on the dribbler and maintain contact. On plays where there is excessive contact, you must decide if an intentional foul is warranted, even if the defender makes an effort to legitimately block a shot or play defense. Watch the player with the ball in green go to the basket, but his shot is blocked by number 1 in white. Number 15 white, while trying to block the shot, contacts the shooter in the face and forcefully knocks him to the ground, where he also hits his head. This foul could have been avoided if an official had called an offensive foul on the dribbler for hooking. This was called an intentional foul on 15 white. While the act did not appear intentional, the severity of the act clearly called for the foul to be called intentional. Here's another play with a lot of contact at the end. This is a breakaway layup with the defender coming at full speed from behind to try and stop the shot. Would you have called this intentional? The center official called this a personal foul and determined the play to be acceptable basketball action. Keep your eye on the shooter, number 12 in white, as he moves into the lane to rebound his miss. Number 2 in blue, in his attempt to block him out, reaches back and hits number 12 in the face. This appears to be an intentional flagrant act, and you will notice the center official looking directly at the play. Sometimes passing on plays like this can cause the game to go downhill quickly. Just 10 seconds after this play, number 12 in white is driving to the goal, and a collision under the basket is correctly called a block. But number 12 then hits the defender laying on the ground in the face and receives a technical foul. Was this a flagrant act that warranted ejection? This is obviously a highly contested state championship game where the focus of the officials has to be at its highest. Early in the third quarter of the same game, number 12 in white will be called for a foul in the backcourt while guarding too closely, but then adds just enough of a push to send the dribbler to the floor after the whistle had blown. Number 12 was given a common foul on this play and also a technical foul for the contact after the whistle had stopped the play. Notice both officials moving in on the play to be in good position to help each other. Make sure to come together as officials when multiple fouls occur to discuss who the fouls were on and the procedure for making the ball live again. In a 2-point game with under a minute, the team in blue is behind and trying to foul to stop the clock. Look at the post player for white underneath. The defender in blue is pushing him out of the play and trying to foul him to send him to the free throw line. Should this have been called an intentional foul? Rule 4, Article 3B says, contact away from the ball with an opponent who is clearly not involved with the play shall be called intentional. Rule 4, Section 10 says a closely guarded situation occurs when a player in control of the ball in his or her front court is continuously guarded by any opponent who is within 6 feet of the player who is holding or dribbling the ball. On this play, the trail official has players in between her and the closely guarded dribbler and does not have a count. When should this count have started? Remember, the rules to obtain an initial legal guarding position are: the guard must have both feet touching the playing court and the front of the guard's torso must be facing the opponent. Watch the coach for the white team try and help the center official start his count on this play. If the dribbler moves outside of the 6-foot closely guarded area, an official can extend their arms out wide to show that the dribbler is no longer closely guarded and a new count would have to be started. This was recently added as an acceptable signal by the National Federation. The official should have had a closely guarded count on this play. The official begins his closely guarded count as soon as the defender is within 6 feet in the front court. The dribbler tries to move back outside of the 6-foot area but does not. Notice the official continues the count and the 5-second call is made. Here's an interesting call made even though someone comes in between the dribbler and the defender. The trail begins his count and the dribbler moves toward the basket but back out again as a teammate tries to set a screen. The defender slides around the screen but retains the 6-foot distance. Even if a teammate of the defender had switched on this play and kept the 6-foot distance, a 5-second call would have been made. Watch the trail begin his count, and even though the dribbler makes a move to the basket, he is still closely guarded. It is easy to count right along with the official when watching the replay. Make your signal easy for everyone to see. In this play, the center official waits too long to come out and begin a 5-second count. The count should have started as soon as the dribbler obtained front court status. But then he stops his count as the dribbler moves out of his primary. Until the status of the ball changes, the official with the 5-second count must continue the count, even when the dribbler moves across the court. This could have been a 5-second closely guarded violation. There are several things happening in this play. The trail official starts the closely guarded count late. She does switch hands after the dribbler begins to hold the ball, but then makes the 5-second call after visually counting to 3. The coach is signaling for a timeout, but it's not apparent if he was verbally requesting it as well. The official must be aware of the coach in this situation. Remember when you switch hands to start the count from the beginning again. The trail official here is in perfect position to referee this play. It was not closely guarded until the defender took a step toward the dribbler. Even though the referee makes 2 signals to convey that the defender is not within 6 feet of the dribbler, it is obvious that he is. Don't penalize the defense by making them get right next to the dribbler before you begin your count. Rule 4, Section 37, Article 2 says that to obtain or maintain legal rebounding position, a player may not displace, charge, or push an opponent. The majority of rebounding fouls will be called by the trail and center official. Look at number 30 in white when the shot is attempted. The center official's primary was rebounding on the backside of this play. Number 30 obviously displaces the defender as the shot goes up and causes the opponent to lose her balance. This is a foul on number 30. Since the shot was in the air and there is no team control, it would not be a team control foul. Watch the players underneath on the opposite side of the lane. Number 1 in white and number 14 in green get tangled up, but number 1 uses his body to displace the opponent who ends up on the floor. Look at the lead official back away from the players to get a better angle as the shot is taken. His primary responsibility on this play was off-the-ball rebounding, and his positioning made it easy to see the play. This is a similar play involving the same players on the other end of the floor. They tangle arms again, trying to get position, although no one is displaced this time. Don't be afraid to call a double foul if post players continue to play too aggressively when trying to get rebounding position. "24 in white gets good position on number 14 on the near side of the lane and keeps him away from the rebound. But look at number 15, the shooter who followed his miss, attempts to tip it in, but is contacted by 24 in white. Should this have been a foul on 24 in white, even though he was in legal rebounding position and was going for the ball? Watch the lead official on this play, which is easy to call if you're focused on your primary coverage area. 32 in white has poor rebounding position and tries to move number 2 in the dark jersey out of the way, causing him to lose his balance. The lead official is focused on his primary and makes the call. You won't miss these types of fouls if you stay in your primary and trust your partners to handle theirs. Here are a couple of plays involving the same teams in a physical game. After the rebound is secured, it's knocked away. The player in green gets the ball and the foul is called by the new trail as the player in white comes in from behind. The center official probably has the best angle on this play, but the trail does a good job coming to get the foul. In this play, the player in green secures the rebound but is trapped by several players in white. Is she bumped off balance by the defender in white reaching in to try and get the ball? Both lead and trail have a foul call initially, but the lead changes her mind and calls traveling. Look at the play in slow motion and see if the player was displaced. What is the correct call here? This is another rebounding play involving displacement. Number 4 in the dark uniform pushes a rebounder underneath the basket on the first shot, and before the second shot is attempted, pushes the same player all the way over the end line and the call is made. The lead official misses the call on the first play, but then gets the second after rotating to the other side. The center official could have made the call on the second play as well. Picking up off-the-ball rebounding fouls is critical in keeping play from becoming too rough. Be careful not to penalize a player for trying to rebound from behind an opponent. These two players possess the ball simultaneously on the rebound, and the lead official calls a held ball. There was clearly space between the players as they jumped for the rebound. Don't assume the foul from a player rebounding from behind. But in this play, the player from behind does displace his opponent by placing his hand in his back as they jump. The center official is actually responsible for the shooter on this play, making the lead primarily responsible for all rebounders in the lane. The lead does a good job picking this play up on the other side of the lane from his position. The center should have had a whistle on this play also. Here's another one involving the same two players on the other end of the floor. Displacement is easy to see on this play, and the lead is quick to pick it up. When you have aggressive post players, your crew must be consistent in calling these fouls. Illegal contact must be called regardless of time or score. Here was a close call on a rebound where the player was trying to tap the ball back toward the goal prior to the horn sounding. Even though both players were going for the rebound, this is a foul on the defender, resulting in 2 shots for the shooter. Rule 4, Section 41, Articles 7 and 8 say the tap starts when the player's hand touches the ball and ends in exactly the same manner as a try. Remember, the new rule on free throw shooting this year allows players on the lane line to enter the lane after the release of the ball by the shooter. Did number 10 in the white jersey push the opponent in order to gain possession of the rebound? Know your primary area of concern on free throws and referee the play. Don't be afraid to call fouls at the end of a game if they are warranted. The defense shouldn't be allowed more contact just because the clock is running out. Watch this play and see if the shooter was fouled with 3 seconds remaining. The defender appears to place her arm on the shooter and knock her off balance. A foul is a foul regardless of time or situation. Here is an end-of-game situation where communication was of the utmost importance. The team in white trails by 2 with little time on the clock. After the legal 3-point shot is released, the horn sounds, and it appears the defender underneath jumps up and grabs the shot out of the air. The center official has responsibility to count or wave off the last shot. He initially looks to the trail for help, but he has already waved the shot off as no good and is leaving the court. The center then goes to the lead to confirm that the shot was indeed a legal 3-pointer, and then counts the goal, charging the defender with goaltending. Here are the problems with this situation. The trail should not have waved his hands at all. He should have come into the front court as the play unfolded, and he should have run to meet with the center official to discuss the play when he needed help. After reviewing the play several times in slow motion, it becomes obvious that the shot deflects off the rim slightly and is then grabbed by the defender. The trail later stated that he waved off the shot because it was obviously short and therefore not goaltending. Communication in this situation was crucial. Never leave the court until the final ruling has been made. Check these plays out and you make the call. Block or charge on the dribbler. Did the defender have legal guarding position? Did the dribbler get head and shoulders past the defender to make it a block? The contact on this play was ignored. Was there enough contact to warrant a whistle? The defender, who falls in the lane, actually picks up a foul after tripping the shooter. You can't obtain legal guarding position while on the floor. Watch these illegal screens by White in the lane. Don't allow the offense to chuck or reroute players trying to play defense. Which screens are illegal in this play? Block or charge on this play. Recognizing a secondary defender sliding over will always be critical to getting this play correct. Should there have been a whistle on this play? The official passes on this one. Was there enough contact to warrant a whistle? Thanks for watching this year's GHSA basketball training video for officials. Take the time to study the rule book and then take part in training to learn how to implement them. Have a great season.